Hello friends and welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to talk about what is role axis and vehicle interaction. For this you have to watch the video completely for understanding this derivation fully. So first I am going to explain what is a role axis is. So stay tuned. Let's begin the derivation.
Roll axis is defined as the axis through which the vehicle is actually rolls when the car is taking a corner or when there is a side force that is acting to the body of the vehicle. It is not always true that the roll axis passes through the center of gravity of the vehicle, or the roll axis will be same as that of the normal longitudinal axis of the vehicle. And if it does, the angle of tilt of the vehicle while taking a corner will be very much low, and you will notice when the derivation is ends, and I will explain everything. So now let's analyze the behavior of the car with a conventional suspension system and the same car, that is when using an independent suspension system. So let's begin.
This figure shows a car that is using a rigid axle suspension system, which is the conventional model. So here you can see the A is a wheel track, D is the distance between these two struts or the springs, and F is a side force that is acting in the center of gravity of the vehicle, and it is making an angle theta with the horizontal. Here you can see only because of this couple generator here. Here you can see the couple is generated with a magnitude of F into smaller h. H is the distance between the center O, which is the roll axis, and F, the magnitude will be F into h. Because of this couple, which is denoted as T, there will be a load difference between the left and right side of the tire, and in the left side the magnitude of the load will be W by 2 plus CT by A, where C is the spring stiffness, and in the right side it will be W by 2 minus CT by A, and A is the wheel drag, as you can see here. And the force that is acting, the reactive force for the side force, that will be split into two, and each of them will be acting towards the struts, and it will be acting outwards, and the left side it will be F suffix L, and the right side it will be F suffix R, and the resultant, the capital letter F, which is the force F, will be acting to the roll axis, which is O. Because this is an independent suspension system, which is a rigid axle, and also we are calling it as conventional suspension system, and that is why the all axis is coming here. The couple T is acting in a plane perpendicular to the longitudinal axis, so the couple will be acting like this, and the longitudinal if we look from the top of the vehicle, it will be the longitudinal axis, and the couple will be acting in this plane. For the conventional suspension system, the angle of tilt theta is equal to 2ct by kd square, which is approximately is equal to 2c fh divided by kd square, because we have replaced the couple t by f into h. D is the distance between these two things, as you can see it in here. Here K is considered as the spring stiffness, and C is the constant that is related to the stiffness between, or the relative stiffness between the two springs, which are situated in the left and as well as right. So C will be dependent on the relative stiffness between these two springs, and K is the stiffness of whole spring. Now we are going to consider a vehicle that is using an independent suspension system, and the suspension that is using here is a double parallel type suspension, and the vehicle that is using double arm parallel type suspension is having a side force that is acting in the center of gravity of the vehicle, similarly just like the previous case. But the vehicle behave in a very much different manner compared to the conventional suspension system. Here the rolling center will be shifted towards the horizontal axis, which is in the ground. Here you can see the point O, and the distance between the side force and the reaction force that is generated due to the side force, which is also denoted by the capital F, will be acting to the center O. So the distance between these two, the perpendicular distance between the side force and this force, will be capital H, and there will be a splitter force in the left spring as well as the right spring, and in the left spring that will be acting in the contact patch of the left tire, and for right spring it will be acting on the contact patch of the right tire. So the left spring's force will be denoted as F sub L, and for right it is F suffix R, and the resultant is represented as capital F. And these forces are acting in a direction opposite to the side force, so hence there will be a couple will be generated, which is a counterclockwise direction here. So it will try to make the vehicle overturn in the direction of the side force. To find the angle of tilt in the independent suspension case, the equation is that 3ct by k a square, which is approximately, we can replace the equation for couple T, which is F into capital H. The force that is acting in the parallel arms of the left hand suspension is P plus Q, and for the right hand suspension it will be P minus Q. So there will be forces that is acting higher in the left and it will be lower in the right side. So the forces that is reactive forces that is acting in the left tire will be added by the couple that is generated here. So similarly it will be W by 2 plus Ct by A, and in the right side it will be W by 2 minus Ct by A. Here you can see in the previous case the denominator was D, which was the distance between the springs in the left as well as right. Here it is replaced by the wheel track A. Here you can see that here, and the height small h, which is replaced by the capital H, and the magnitude of H is higher than small h, and wheel track will be higher than the distance D. So here you can see the angle theta will be very much less compared to the theta that is generated for a conventional suspension system, which is discussed earlier. But you may also think that the H have got risen in the independent suspension case, but in most of the cases the increment in the wheel track A can outweigh the effect of capital H here. So there will be higher probability for that the angle of tilt will be very much low compared low in the independent suspension case compared to the conventional suspension system.
For example, for a hyper sports car, the increase in the height h will be very much small because of the lower ground clearance, but their wheel track is designed to be very much high to provide better handling, so the tilt angle theta will have a very low value compared to other. But for a sport utility vehicle, it because of the higher ground clearance, it won't be able to provide that much variation in theta compared to the sports car. That's why I told the difference. So in most of the cases, the independent suspension system will provide very low tilt angle compared to the dependent or conventional suspension system. So now let's check how to achieve a zero tilt angle by modifying the forces in the independent suspension system's link. So let's begin and continue.
The analysis of an independent suspension system under the action of a side force is different from the one under the action of a pure couple as discussed in the earlier case. So let us consider an independent suspension system as shown in this figure, and under you can see the force is acting here. You can see the two forces P and Q that is acting in the two links or two arms of the independent suspension system, and P is in the upper arm and it is making an angle gamma with the horizontal, and the force at the lower arm which is Q is making an angle delta with the horizontal as well. Here you can see, and the weight W is acting downwards to the center of gravity as usual, and A is the wheel track as I already said, and there will be a factor in the left tire which is generated only because of the side force acting towards the left side, and it will be alpha F, and the right side it will be 1 minus alpha into F. F is the side force. As usual, here we are not considering the coupler separately. Here we are giving more priority for the force as well. So in the left side the magnitude of reactive force that is acting will be W by 2 plus FH by A, where H is the height of center of gravity from the ground, and in right side it will be W by 2 minus FH by A. For finding the value of gamma and delta for no tilt condition, first we are deriving for the left side suspension system. So we have to take a closer look at the left side suspension. Under the action of the side force, the double arm type suspension will look like this, and the force P is making an angle gamma with the horizontal, and the Q is making an angle delta with the horizontal. And this is the force that is acting, which is F suffix L here, which is a side force. So for drawing the closed diagram, which is free body diagram for the three forces, we will arrive at a triangle like this, which shows the horizontal force, which is the part of side force, which is F suffix L, which is acting in the left suspension, and Q, which is the force on the lower arm, and P, which is the force on the upper arm. So by resolving the forces horizontally, we will arrive at alpha f plus p cos gamma minus q cos delta is equal to 0, because p is making an angle gamma with the horizontal and q is making delta with the horizontal. So we can write alpha f equal to q cos delta minus p cos gamma and put it as equation number 1. Similarly, if we resolve the forces vertically, we know that w by 2 is same for left and right side suspension system stairs, and the only variation is the couple that is made because of the side force, which is Fh by A. The left side suspension will be increased by Fh by A, and right side will be decreased by Fh by A. So by resolving horizontally, we can write that Fh by A minus P sin gamma minus Q sin delta is equal to 0. So Fh by A is equal to P sin gamma plus Q sin delta, and put it as equation number 2. Now we are going to take moment with respect to the point D. So the force P cos gamma, which is a horizontal component that is acting through here, is displaced by an amount E, and the side part of the side force, which is Fl, which is alpha F, is displaced by an amount of small letter f. Force on the upper arm, which is P, which is tensile force. For this concentration, we have the horizontal component of this will be acting in this direction, so it will be making a clockwise moment for with respect to D, and alpha f, which is F suffix L, is making a counterclockwise moment. So by taking moment with respect to D, we will arrive at an equation: EP cos gamma minus alpha f into small letter f is equal to 0. So we can write alpha ff is equal to EP cos gamma. So equation for the force P is equal to alpha f into small letter f divided by E cos gamma. So we can substitute the value of P in equation number 1. So equation 1 is this, alpha f equal to Q cos delta minus P cos gamma. So we can write alpha f equal to Q cos delta minus alpha ff divided by E cos gamma. So E cos gamma will get cancelled, and we will arrive alpha f equal to Q cos delta minus alpha ff divided by E. By resolving this equation, we can arrive at the equation for force Q. Alpha f plus alpha ff divided by E equal to Q cos delta. So we can take alpha f as constant, and cos delta out of the bracket, and it will be 1 plus f by E. So we can rewrite it as E plus f by E into alpha f by cos delta is equal to Q. So now what we are going to do is substituting the value of P and Q in the equation number 2, which we got from resolving the forces vertically. Alpha f by E cos gamma into sin gamma, so sin by cos equal to tan gamma, and here it will be alpha f by cos delta into E plus f by E into sin delta. So sin delta by cos delta equal to tan delta, and alpha f by E is common, so alpha f by E into f tan gamma plus E plus f into tan delta. So both f will go cancel when we equate it to tan gamma. So we can write tan gamma is equal to H by A f alpha minus E plus f by f into tan delta is equal to tan gamma. So tan gamma equal to He by alpha fa minus E plus f by f into tan delta. If we settle the value of delta first, then we can easily find the value of gamma by from this equation. For the right side suspension system, the alpha will be replaced by 1 minus alpha. For tan gamma for the right side suspension will be He by 1 minus alpha into f into a minus E plus f by f into tan delta. For the no tilt condition where theta is equal to 0, the value of gamma and delta will be equal in the left side suspension as well as right side. So 1 minus alpha will be equal to alpha, which proves that the value of alpha will be equal to 1 by 2 whether there is no tilt in the vehicle. If we need to build a independent suspension system which provides no tilt when it is having a side force, the value of alpha have to be half for both sides, as well as the roll axis must meet or it might need to pass through the center of gravity of the vehicle, and in another words, the roll axis must be coincide with the center of gravity of the vehicle or pass through the center of gravity of the vehicle if we need no tilt when in an independent suspension system vehicle is having a side force that is acting to the center of gravity of the vehicle.
So to achieve a non-tilt condition, I am just reversing back. The roll axis must pass to the center of gravity of the vehicle, as well as the and the value of alpha has to be constant in the left hand right side, which means alpha will be equal to 1 minus alpha. So the value of alpha must be half or 1 by 2. Hope you learned about roll axis and the vehicle under the action of side forces. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel for never missing the updated videos. See you later. Bye.